Okay, so the basis of moving over to the Aston Martins in Grand Sport really was predicated on the fact that Ford's moved on. Their focus has become the Focus in ST. We're heavily involved with that still, and we're developing the car for them. But the Mustang program started with the FR500C and then the Boss 302R. That's now purely a customer program. We're still supporting it, and Ford's still giving 100% support to that program, but they're not going to back us on running a factory race program, and that was always the idea. And again, with the Focus, the same thing. We'll develop the car, and then ultimately customers will run it. So when that all went down, I've got a few drivers there, like Scotty Maxwell, who's been with me a long time, not so interested in driving a front-wheel drive car. So, because of the long relationship we've had on the engineering side with Aston Martin, we've been discussing sort of doing something with them for a number of years. We pulled the trigger on it, and we've ended up with these two Aston Martin Vantage V8s running in Grand Sport. Beautifully built cars. In this particular case, the development and the build's done by Aston Martin Racing in England, so we're purely a team on that, although we are selling the cars into Grand Sport as well. But from a challenge perspective, there aren't any because they're good to go as delivered. They've been running in Europe for 6 years. The bugs are sorted out of them. All we really got to do is race them. And as you know, for many years, Ford owned 100% ownership and had 100% ownership in Aston Martin. And until recently, they still had a minority ownership, even after the sale got made a few years ago to an investment company. The car still, because during that period of time with Ford, there was a lot of component parts and pieces that Aston Martin utilized in their cars, both the DB9 and the Vantage. So when you look inside this car, there's a lot of familiar pieces inside this Aston Martin Vantage that ultimately came from the Ford and still do come from the Ford parts bins. The relationship is still strong. So as far as Aston Martin's concerned, the synergy of us being here with a Grand Sport car from Aston Martin and an ST car from Ford, they're perfectly happy with that. And of course, I asked Jamie Allison at Ford Racing, I asked his permission, is it okay if we do this? And with some trepidation, he said, yes, of course, I'm not supporting you in Mustang, go and do what you want to do. So, maybe a little sensitive, but both sides are pretty happy with it, and we're obviously happy with it because they're beautiful cars.